show the extremely reduced volume of the central nervous system where the program is registered. Through such an example, we have an idea of the capability of living matter necessitating a prodigious organization. Where can we situate the origin of life? As far as we know, the most likely hypothesis is an aquatic origin. Algae and bacteria existed 1 billion years ago. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Other microorganisms were found in rocks dating back 3 billion years. Pluricellular life forms most probably developed from unicellular forms. The most primitive pluricellular beings are likely to have been the sponges, which, although not possessing clearly differentiated organs, already display a reproductive organization that is sexual. From these primitive forms probably derive others possessing rudiments of organs and cells that have acquired nervous and muscular functions. They are likely to have been formed less than 1 billion years ago. The first invertebrates probably appeared 500 or 600 million years ago, along with mollusks, annulated worms, and the first insect. The vertebrates came later, roughly 450 million years ago, and likewise certain fishes which continued to develop thereafter. The first terrestrial vertebrates, amphibians and reptiles, appeared some 350 million years ago, and following them came the mammals 180 million years ago, and the birds 135 million years ago. This brief survey showed the magnitude of the evolution in the animal kingdom toward ever more developed and complex forms in a perfectly ordered manner, suggesting that its explanation by chance is impossible. The genetic code which controls the function of each of our cells is the director, having control over all transformations that arrive in an orderly, non-chaotic manner. When a new characteristic appeared in evolution, this was the obligatory reply to an order from one or more specific genus. Evolution has perpetually been the creator of increasing complex forms among the animal and the plants. Thus, when one studies the infinitely small in living being, one arrives at the notion that everything is entirely programmed at the level of the genetic code, exercising its control over extremely complex functions in connection with anatomic modifications. How can the existence of a programmer be found incompatible with science? Even further, how can an objective and impartial scientist of our age avoid the impossibility of explanation of this extraordinary arrangement of the phenomena of life, which would depend on the notion of chance? Or then, can one rely on whole formulae, preconceived ideas such as Darwin natural selection, which in no way explain that we know today of evolution? What characterizes a living being is the information recorded in the genetic code. The latter contains the specifications concerning its morphology and functions of every kind. Evolution, as we know, is quite obviously dependent on a process of successive additions of informational data over the course of time. Scientists can argue ad infinitum about the causes determining the fact, but they cannot get away from the fact itself because it is patently obvious. When certain of today's theorists who claim to have an explanation for everything are asked just where the point of departure or origin of genetic information lies, they are at a loss for words. How could they fail to be? Jacques Monod has acknowledged the inability to explain it in his book, Chance and Necessity. I quote Jacques Monod: "The major problem is the origin of the genetic code and the mechanism by which it is expressed. Indeed, one cannot talk so much of a problem as of a genuine enigma." Unquote. Lamarck and Darwin did not provide an explanation for the genesis of the broad basic divisions of the plant of animal kingdom, each of which arrive at an organizational plan for an entire lineage. Fortuitous changes in the genes do not adequately account for the emergence of major variation. They cannot create new forms with modifications that affect organs in a coherent manner. All of these events took place in a very long stages. At the beginning, there appeared the first signs of particular features, followed by a period of accentuation of these phenomena, which was rounded off by a phase during which events slowed down and the creation of new types finally ground to a halt. At the present time, we would appear to be in this final stage, as we shall see later on. However, in the case of man's transformation, transformation came to a halt more recently. All the major organizational types were laid down at a very early stage. From the moment a type engendered certain form that oriented themselves in a particular direction, no new organizational types emerged from specialized forms. In his book, The Evolution of Living Organisms, Pierre-Paul Grasset wrote, I quote, "Creative evolution has its roots in prototype forms. Without them, no new types of organization can ever appear." Unquote. At the cellular level, evolution raises questions which can now be answered by molecular biology and genetics. No new phenomenon can occur in the cell without the intermediary of DNA molecules, which by means of ribonucleic acid, RNA molecules, is responsible for the formation of proteins that constitute the origin of chemical synthesis. For every important morphological variation, the DNA molecule must acquire a new active gene, thus adding to its fund of chemical-held information, or modification must occur in a gene that already exists. Professor Grasset, who was for 30 years teaching evolution in the animal kingdom at the University of Paris, emphasized upon the fact that the most primitive living being could not genuinely and substantially have contained within itself all the genes of the animal. The same for the vegetable kingdom. For him, the acquisition of genes is the absolute prerequisite for evolution. What happened, as far as we know, concerning the human species? Here we must report findings and not theories, in order to make a valid comparison with the statements of the Bible and teachings of the Qur'an. According to the firmly established notions provided by the study of human fossils, bones and teeth,